right, guys. This is our flood model, okay? So what we're going to do here is we're going to create some rain and some things like that and show you how flooding works. Right now we have some communities along our river. This river or stream is our main way of draining the water out of our community and getting it to a safe place. But upstream from us, somebody tore down the fields and put in a parking lot in the strip mall. Okay? So who wants to come back here and make the rain? Come on back. What's your name?
Mickey.
Mickey? All right, Mickey, get the bucket. Make some rain. All right, before you make the rain, who lives here? What's your name, sir?
John.
John lives right here, Mickey. Anybody want to live? Anybody want to live next to John? Okay. And D'Angelo, you live right here next to John. All right, Mickey.
Wait a minute.
Well, you weren't until they tore down the fields and built a parking lot. And now FEMA hadn't been out.
They paved Paradise.
They paved Paradise.
And put up a
You're old enough to know that.
Yeah, he's old enough to know that
I
song.
need a class action suit.
All right, Mickey, make it rain. So Mickey makes it rain. And what used to be a safe place to live,
John's house
is gone.
John, do you have a dog?
Yeah.
It's time to go get a new dog.
Did you have pictures in your house, John? All right.
Basement floor.
Mickey,
In a box.
Not anymore.
John, Mickey owned the strip mall up here, so what are you going to do to Mickey?
Get my neighbors together and get a good lawyer.
That's exactly what you're going to do to Mickey.
Welcome to Washington, D.C.
So, what are some ways, if John has no control over what Mickey builds up here, what are some ways that John can protect his homes down here? To build a levee?
We need proper drainage.
What are
in the
some?
parking
They
lot.
need proper drainage. So let's try proper drainage upstream for once, and just show what happens there.
Some appropriate drainage in the parking lot.
All right. So let's put in some stormwater control.
You want to do the stormwater pond?
We can do the field.
You got one?
Underneath.
We'll do the field. Let's just do the field. It'll be easier.
We've got the stormwater.
We can pretend it's controlled drainage. All right, so we're going to put in some controlled drainage. All right, Mickey, make it rain again. So if Mickey would have planned his parking lot strip mall right and had the appropriate drainage,
See how the land is soaking the water
the land
up?
soaks up the water and releases it very controlled into our stream.
See?
Well, maybe he's a good businessman, but he would have been a good humanitarian at that point.
And see how it runs out real nice. And it's a nice
Mickey may have been known as a philanthropist as well as if he'd done that. All right, so that's one thing he can do. Let's put our parking lot back in there. We already mentioned building the levee. What can we do to the houses? A couple things we can do there. John could do what? Move. That's exactly right. But John doesn't want to move.
Compensation.
John doesn't want to move. And you can also build the house on stilts. So who wants to build our levee? D'Angelo, come build the levee. Come around the front. It'd be easier, actually. Where are you going to build a levee to protect John and his neighbors here and your house? D'Angelo, you now work for the Army Corps of Engineers. You're building a levee. You better make sure your levee holds. What happens if the levee doesn't hold, D'Angelo? What does John do to you then? John doesn't do anything to Mickey now. What's he do to you? Gets mad at you and sues you, right?
And JMU switcher. What's your name? Dan.
Dan,
Your house.
you've never flooded
Dan,
before because you built this nice little.
You've taken your liberal arts
retention
degree
pond.
at JMU, and you're now making a fortune with your
You fish in
BA
that.
art history.
You fish in that little nice pond you built, and it's protected you from flooding forever. D'Angelo, you ready? All right, Mickey, make it rain again. Let's see how D'Angelo's levee did. All right, his levee. Oh, he breached his levee. Look what happened to Dan's house. Now, Dan, you're not mad at Mickey. John's not mad at Mickey. Who's everybody mad at now?
Oh, the levee.
Oh, the levee forced you to flood.
And the levee didn't
And the
hold.
levee didn't hold. And you know what the worst part is? is the water went over the levee, so now it can't get back out of the levee, and now you're in a swimming pool or a swamp.
We don't have one-way valves on levee.
You got some really nasty problems now, John.
Sorry, John. Thanks for playing.
So what FEMA does is work with the entire community, look at the entire watershed, okay, and try and figure out how to ensure runoff is properly, flooding doesn't occur, not just flooding, but every other natural disaster is looked at a community level. We also have FLASH here in the booth with us, the Federal Alliance for Safe Homes, and they do that at a house level, a home level. So they work with individual homeowners to teach them how to prepare their homes for natural disasters. So in addition to our watershed experiment, we have a new app for iPads and iPhones. Download it for free this weekend, rated a 5. That one is based on wind and tornadoes, and we also have our tornado safe rooms over here.
Thanks, guys.